Okay,
Roll call.
so we need to do roll call.
Oh, Laura Blanchard, mechanical electrical engineer.
You're going this way. Chris Houston, Class C.
Mike Myers, architect. John Reardon, architect.
Warren White, fire code.
So Jan Scott, mechanical contractor.
Neil Liddell, Class B.
Adrian Jones at large.
Mike Brunin, structural.
And JJ had some surgery recently and can't speak very well. So
So we're missing Kevin and JJ.
Kevin's driving back from Western
That's
Kansas.
right. He told me he may not make it.
He said if we needed him for a quorum on anything, that
Bring it.
just call him.
Right. Thank you, Chris. I forgot that he told me that.
I see you, JJ, and I'll try to remember to keep the chat open.
Okay. So let the record show, we have Ken here and Kevin's absent. Okay.
Do we need to approve the previous minute?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you'll get the code up. I mean, the agenda up.
Yeah. Trying to keep it. So in terms of actionables, we've just voted on the meeting minutes from the previous meetings, and then we continued our chapter by chapter review of the energy code, and then adjourned a bit late.
So do we have a motion to approve the minutes from last week? One, second,
Second.
all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Okay, let the record show Warren motion, seconded by Chris. Passes unanimously.
Okay.
And then we are back to, we have where you sent out previously in advance. So the 2024 Overland Park amendments, some notes from Neil, and then the notes from Laura from the previous week.
Yeah, Timberly will finish her significant changes. Laura, interject with your notes as you see fit.
Okay.
And then once Timberly's done, you had a fair amount on that packet, so I'll just make sure from you if you have anything else to
Do we
provide
have
input.
your brilliant drawing on here?
I have this little flow chart for later.
Okay.
And then Laura was kind enough to send me her notes digitally, so they're a bit more clear.
Okay. All right.
Timberly, I'm logged into the
Great. Thank you.
Thank
you.
Yeah.
Stuff all over your screen, sorry.
Yeah, that's okay.
I'll try to keep JJ up here.
He can raise his hand if he has anything.
Yeah, but we can't see it. Just because we're sharing.
Okay, just get this set up really quick here. Why?
And this is kind of still a part of our chapter by chapter review, right? So we got 1, 2, 3. I didn't think we had any comments. 4 is the meat of this, so then 2 was finishing up on that. Yeah,
Yeah, well, you can back door.
I got it.
Okay, so since we're still doing the 21 and the 24, there's a couple things in each one. I'm going to jump back and forth. Hopefully not too much. And we only have a little bit left to go from the significant stuff that staff identified for our meeting today. Okay, so we are going to start with the first where we left off for 511. Okay. Automatic receptacle controls. Let me make this a little bit smaller. So New provisions require at least 50% of covered receptacles and 25% of branch circuit feeders to be automatically controlled receptacles. So as you can see, lots of new language. This was new in the 2021. Enclosed offices, conference room, break rooms, classrooms, etc. Those are 50% of receptacles and 25% of branch circuit feeders. For modular furniture, they have to have automatic receptacle control. Our staff identified this as a possible concern. Safety concerns where extensive use of extension cords and plug strips would be used. We did some research as much as we could, and in the 2021 insights in the code, it says that it's unfounded that that is a problem. There are no documented studies validating this problem, it says. The proposed language requires either a split duplex receptacle with a controlled or uncontrolled receptacle in the same device, or an uncontrolled receptacle to be located no more than 12 inches from a controlled receptacle. This provides occupants in an automatic receptacle controlled space clear access to both label marked controlled and uncontrolled receptacles. And a considerable.
Can I add, Kimberly, as an audit, my screen is very blurry. What exactly is an automatic control receptacle?
It would be controlled frequency sensors with the lights.
Okay. Thank you.
It does. The code says that 50% of these outlets would be switched, and so you one that's switched to be located more than 12 inches from the uncontrolled receptacle. So both in a considerable number of over the share the viability and cost effectiveness automatic receptacle. Again, that's from the 2021 IECC code insights when they made change. So required by code in certain areas, offices,
Conference rooms.
Yeah.
rooms.
So this is carryover from 21.
right. It's still in the code. It did not come out in the 24. Staff was not. we were thinking an amendment would be-
JJ, I do agree with you. She's breaking up.
Oh, you're breaking up?
Shouldn't be.
Audio's
Yeah,
breaking up.
it's been kind of choppy.
Okay, geez. Well, we apologize for that. We've been doing pretty good in here with audio. If it becomes unbearable, will someone speak up and let us know if
Now see, Brian, you were clear.
Well,
Maybe move your giant clock.
maybe move.
So
It's set up on the screen a minute or so ago. Internet connection is unstable.
the internet connection was unstable according to Chris, so maybe it's corrected itself and we can move forward. If it
Okay.
happens again, Bobby's saying hers is not breaking up. Okay, well, just let us know if it presents a problem moving forward. Okay.
Just a heads up, most jurisdictions we work in all over the country have left this section in and they are doing it. It's not my favorite thing in the world. It adds a lot to, especially office buildings being built. But there is some savings of people leaving on equipment and chargers, and
So you said most have left this in.
yes, unfortunately, yes.
Probably the reality is, though, I think of some of the offices we did, especially the kind of hoteling type office areas, that they'll figure out which ones aren't controlled.
Yeah.
So 50% of the outlets will never get used. We're basically putting in twice as many that will ever get used, which is wasting a
But
lot of
because
resources.
they're within 12 inches of each.
Yeah, they're like, screw this. I'm never using that one because I don't want my laptop to just suddenly go, better to die or, get whatever else plugged in. And you just wasted, put in twice as much material into a building. Electrically,
In classrooms, I think is ridiculous. It's just adding a lot of cost to educational facilities
Section.
No.
that doesn't necessarily need to be there because You're not gonna have a lot plugged into a classroom
They
when
amended
it's not
10
occupied.
and 13, but that's
How
another
would you say in most of those, are they using sensors
13.
on the hardware side, or are they using controllers to control
Occupancy sensors,
the sensors themselves?
because all the rooms have to have the occupancy sensors anyway. It just, you're gonna put a power pack in, it's just more equipment.
JJ says adds confusion and more cost for little to no benefit. So this is one just a recap of last time, we kind of went through the first half of the significant changes, and I've marked ones that I know we're going to be coming back to talk about. And we also have Laura's as well. So this one's definitely one we don't need to, in my opinion, spend a lot of time on it right now. If we come back and maybe just letting you guys know about it so that you can think about what you want to do.
And just my recommendation is say buildings over 10,000 square feet need to follow this. That would be mine. So you're not hurting the small business owners.
Over 10,000.
We can decide on a number, but
Yeah.
and I just,
Economically,
yeah.
you've got to give them every fighting chance. So
Okay, we'll definitely be coming back to that one. And then the very next section in the 21, there we go. This is for energy monitoring. It's a new code section. Energy monitoring requirements are added to measure and retain the intended energy performance of a building. So this is all monitoring, metering, lots of things there. Now this originally in 21 was for conditioned floor areas of 25,000 square feet or larger, except R2 with some exceptions. They did change that in 21, so it's 10,000 square feet or larger is what it applies to. So anything more than 10,000 square feet has to do the energy monitoring, no matter what path you choose. No, we as staff talked about, we didn't think an amendment would be proposed. Monitors, but does not report. It's available to the building owner and operator personnel. There are some exemptions that exist. We do have the significant changes and the insights that kind of why staff felt there was no amendment possibly, but it was a significant change.
So OP amended that back from 10,000 back to the 25,000.
Back. That.
Yeah, that's significant.
Mhm.
But couldn't that be a decision of the building owner during the construction, whether they wanted a monitoring system so we could do a may instead of shall, basically, or delete it all or increase the size, would be my thoughts.
A lot of large buildings that we design anyway have these in there, like a Bastro or a warehouse distribution center. They have them in there. The owners put them in there by choice. I like the 25,000 square foot.
I have it in my house.
I have it in my house. It's called the Evergy bill.
Where it changed.
I guess my house has it too.
Went back to 25.
Yes.
Mine's called Nancy.
Laura, any insight why it went down 15,000 square feet?
They're just, all the energy, they're just kind of tightening it up.
Tightening it up to everything.
And you got to remember, a lot of this is based on big cities and their brownouts that they're having. Think of Dallas, Houston, those type of
Energy
places.
to prevent the brownout.
Right.
Okay, thank you.
Next, we are looking at 405.15. This is the renewable energy systems. This is a new code section in the 24. So this requires all buildings to be equipped for either on-site renewable electricity generation unless they're exempt. If they're exempt, they must procure off-site renewable electrical energy. We have some insights from the 2024 code. The size of the required on-site renewable energy will supply on average 15% of the building energy use. Included are a list of exceptions, which require building owners to procure off-site. So you can see the list of exceptions here. So if you are less than 5,000 square feet, you don't have to do this. if your roof area is shaded, they have some of these exceptions, but when you meet one of these exceptions, then you have to comply with 40515 too, and you have to get this off-site renewable energy.
What is that?
So that's a really good question. Yeah.
Green tags.
So it's basically you're buying credits.
Well, it goes on to say, when you do the off-site procurement, you shall procure and be credited. And it goes on to tell you it's for 10 years. It's all of these, the contract, the documentation that's required. So the code spells it out, it looks like.
Yeah, Evergy lets you pay like an extra penny on your bill for an extra penny per kilowatt hour for all renewable energy. I would imagine that's what they're talking about.
That's the off-site.
Okay.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And who's going to monitor that they're complying with that?
What's this? There was documentation for the
Yeah.
Right.
all about. I think someone.
Yeah,
I
there's
mean, they already produce we're up to about almost 60% of Kansas is renewable. If you consider nuclear renewable,
Timberlake,
about 15% of it.
Timberley, was this in the 21 or is this new for the 24?
24.
I'd let it go a cycle before we adopted something like this. But anyway, that's my thought.
Yeah, and the interesting thing, we've already had an applicant that's going to be applying for permits after the year. And if we have the 24 codes adopted at some point, they're inquiring about this very, very code section. And we're like,
Overland Park deleted it.
We'll see.
related it to the whole thing.
Yeah.
What we see a lot of jurisdictions, even in California where they're very strict about it, we have it prepared for solar, but we don't put it on. So the roof is prepared and you have to maintain your rooftop units in a way that you have the solar panels spacing and layout. You have a certain zone for it. They have that all spelled out. And you've got conduits there and ready. So if they ever want to put it in, they can, but they're not being forced to put it in.
So I created the OP document for you guys. They I don't have it with me. They deleted for that specific code section.
515 is omitted,
Yeah.
deleted and omitted.
Completely X'd out. Yeah, it's on the documentation. Like, what do they got?
Yeah, I would propose to amend it out, let it go a code cycle and see how the industry responds or if they change it. That's the way I'm looking.
I agree with that for Kansas.
Yeah.
Do we want to simplify this for Brian and Timberley as they put this together and just make a motion and agree to take that out?
I'm okay with that.
And then we would not have more discussion on that specific section.
Tim was like, yeah.
Or do you want to leave it in there and then we can just say this was?
I think we could do that now. We'll talk about your question later.
We have, yes.
Foreshadow.
We have some bigger discussions that we're going to talk about right after this.
But SJ.
But your question was, do we make a motion now to strike it out?
Yeah.
We're pretty much in agreement to strike it out. We just
Sure,
vote no.
that works for me.
There's no question later as we go through.
That works for me.
I'll move to strike this section and delete it out. How's that?
Thank you, Adrian. Do we have a second?
Second.
We have several seconds.
Pro 515.
Yeah.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Through
Nay.
16.
We need
It's gotta have a nay every once.
One day, yeah,
Jay?
that's good.
JJ, if you have a yes,
Yeah.
amend out.
And he seconded.
Steals a nay. That's good.
Passes, what, 10-0?
He's on.
No, Kevin's not there. You're a nay?
9-1.
Oh, Neil with the no vote. Okay.
Very. Yeah.
Step on out there, Neil.
Hey, Brian, who seconded that?
Everyone.
They did it online.
Adrian motion and JJ online seconded. Sorry.
Okay, thanks. No, it's okay, thanks.
Yeah.
Okay,
It's always fine.
so moving on from that one, this one is a big one. It came in the 21. And it's been updated in the 24, but this is additional energy credits. So, excuse me. They did require previously in the code edition, you had to get extra credit basically, and you would choose what you wanted as your additional energy package. Now the code says this is for the 21. So I'm going to start with the 21. Additional credits are required based on occupancy classification and climate zone. You have to get the credits that are in the tables. So throughout, you can see these are the tables you're looking at. And when you look, here's for your B occupancy, you choose your climate zone, and here's where you figure out what credits you get for this. That's kind of what they're talking about. They provide ways to get credits, which are required when using the prescriptive path. 10 points are required, let's say. Previously, you just had to pick one. 10 points are required. Previously, you just had to pick one option, the prescriptive path only. Those are my notes, sorry. The additional energy credit approach retains designer and builder flexibility. And I'm reading out of the insights again. These are not my words. And using points more closely aligns the various credit options across climate zones. In some cases, the options also require additional documentation and review by code officials. The extra efficiency credit allows more designer and builder flexibility. While it's slightly more complicated to select multiple items and add up points, in many cases, credit would be given for measures that are often included in buildings already. Furthermore, using the points rather than just pick one puts the options on more of a level consideration and better accounts for the impact of climate. The end result is a performance-based approach that can be applied with the simplicity of a prescriptive approach. The outlined approach is based on the structure currently employed in the IECC for commercial buildings. It just shifts from a pick one approach to the one that selects adequate measures from the options to meet a required point level. It's also similar to packages. It is also similar to packages of measures that have been utilized in both residential and commercial energy codes, particularly in the Pacific Northwest. The Washington Code has successfully used such structure to balance energy performance, design flexibility, and evolving technologies. It does say there is not expected to be an increased cost, as several of the evaluated options are included in the code. So you're already doing it, and in some cases, costs may be reduced. And it goes on. It says it could be up to a 7% building energy cost savings. That's from the 2021 insights. So they did some changes. So this was the 21 change, the big change, was all of these tables. Then in the 24 tables, they kind of changed it to where they split it out. Buildings greater than 2,000 square feet have to comply with one set of tables. And then buildings greater than 5,000 square feet have a whole nother set of tables. So they kind of split it out based on your building size. They have expanded sections for the number of energy saving options compared to the 21 IECC. So we're talking about the 24 now, and more than doubles the additional energy saving requirement on average. The proposal also customizes the additional efficiency requirements by building type and climate zone to better match individual building energy savings potential. The proposal puts renewable energy into a separate category with load management measures to encourage preparation of buildings to meet the future needs of the electric grid. Renewable requirements can also be met with offsite renewable contracts. So it's a lot. It's a big change, and it's a lot of work.
Kimberly, it all sounds good. So what is the downside if they're saying they're saving so much energy?
The downside is it's a lot of paperwork at the end of a project for the architect and engineer to go through and make sure that we meet it. We've never had a problem meeting it because most of this is good design practice in the first place. And if we are having trouble meeting it, there's little things like just some heat recovery that we can do, or adding solar readiness to the building that we can add to it.
How much upfront cost are you looking for some of the stuff, or is it,
Most, it's like thermostatic ball valves. I mean, you get points for that. Well, you should be using those anyway. I mean, point of use water heaters, we use a lot of those. Pipe insulation to meet the energy code. You should be doing that anyway, and you get points for it. So it's
Laura, what was the first thing you mentioned?
thermostatic ball valves.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, it's mostly just good design practice. It's just a lot of paperwork trying to make sure you get all the points, and like reducing your lighting on a lot of the different type of buildings does not get you any points anymore. So, but like energy monitoring does. So if someone wants to put in energy monitoring and slap an EMON on there, then, that's an easy way to get 2 points.
So how is this presented at plan review and inspection? Is this part of some reporting system?
It is part of ComCheck. It can be done part of ComCheck, but it's actually more than often. I think we do it through the international code. I'll have to look at how the guys do that, but we submit it through them, and we work with the architect and structural engineer to make sure we're meeting everything. So it's just more paperwork at the end, kind of like when ComCheck came around.
Yeah, if we lock this in.
I don't have a problem with it. It's just a pain.
is there square footage cut off or construction?
Yeah, I don't know what that was about.
This is new for 24.
Well, they have some.
It sounds similar to LEED when that first came.
This is exactly what it's reminding me of.
Right.
Yeah.
Or is paperwork for that?
Buildings greater than 2,000 square foot of conditioned floor area shall comply with C406 1.1. Buildings greater than 5,000, you've got to comply with that, and 406 1.2,
Yeah,
which is the renewable and load management credit requirements by building occupancy. So it tells you how many points you have to get.
So there's a point system in the 2018 code, right?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Mhm. Yep.
You guys didn't amend that out, did you?
I don't have a problem with leaving this in there. I mean,
I
it's-
don't either.
well, if Laura's okay with it, I'm good with it.
Yeah, we didn't propose any amendments. It's just a big change, and
Yeah.
we're talking about significant changes, so.
There's
Okay.
probably some impacts to municipalities, right, on this that we haven't fully understood at this point.
You're going, when we turn in this paperwork, you're going to have a checklist and go, okay, they did do this. Okay, they did this.
Right.
It's just like you do with ComChecks.
So I'm gonna say we probably don't really need to bring this one back up in future discussions. Everybody's kind of
I think everyone's okay with it.
good. Okay, great. Next is 407.2.
So there, you might, so
Sorry.
OP, while we're here, could you bring up 406-224?
I might need to bring it up. It's here. Whoops, 24.
That was just the changes, right?
Yeah, that's just the changes.
Yes.
All right, we can do it.
Oh, yeah, the residential HVAC control.
Yeah. Is that part of this list thing, or, I mean, it's in 406.
You can get points by it. I don't.
So this is on the residential side.
Yeah, they had, this is the
Sorry,
No, but
406.
No.
Dwelling or sleeping units.
Yeah.
40624, you said.
Commercial.
Sorry, I'm coming. For 40624, is that it?
224.
Oh, I'm sorry.
So what that is like, it's in dwelling units or sleeping units. It's like what they do in hotels. You put your something in there saying you're there and you have to
The
take
key
it out.
card thing. Yeah.
That's what that is doing. So it looks like they're wanting to require it for apartment buildings too.
More than 3 stories. So this, remember, it's only for this section that we're talking about would be any residential occupancy greater than 3 stories in height. So apartment buildings, congregates, dorms.
Okay, so they amended this out. They took this section out,
Over the park did.
Yeah, they did.
and then they also took out 5.5, which is residential light control.
2.5?
I
No,
think that's where you have
I don't,
occupancy sensors in bedrooms or
for
something.
apartment buildings, I don't really like this use because 4 stories, I mean, we're doing the bluffs right now here in Lawrence. And it's just going to be a maintenance nightmare. People are going to lose their cards, or however we decide to do that, they're going to lose it and then not have their HVAC working. I don't mind taking that one out because it's just going to be a pain for apartments.
this one here.
The residential HVAC control setback.
What's the mechanism? I know the hotel, you put your room key in it and then everything turns on. What are the other mechanisms to do that?
You can tie it into occupancy sensors. It just makes the projects get really, really expensive for building owners.
Hey, JJ says I'd follow OP and amend both of those out.
Okay.
What was that other section, Neil? You said 540.
40555 or
2.5.5.
the one right after this?
2.5?
No,
2.5.5.
2.5.5.
All right.
406.2.5.5.
Yeah.
Okay. 406. Let me get back to 406.
I'll write it down.
2.5.
5.5.
There you go.
There's 5.
There you go.
406 point.
Residential light controls.
Thank you.
Okay, I'm having a hard time finding it too.
So this is what JJ's referring to?
It's the second of the 2.
There's the occupancy sensors.
They don't OP'd it, amend the whole thing out. They just changed a few things. So
Yeah, they just amended it. They didn't omit it all out, Neil. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, they amended it. They eliminated 3. Bottom one here. Lights and switch. Yeah. All they did was X out.
Yeah. Took 3 out. Took
Switch sockets, the bathroom socket control. See sensor. Okay. Some.
By switch at the main entrance, that switch shall be marked to indicate its function.
Yeah, I agree. I don't like 3.
Anything else is okay?
What is seating areas? Living rooms?
I think I've never seen.
I really don't want an occupancy sensor in a living room.
You fall asleep reading a book and then suddenly it's, wake up and it's pitch black.
I mean,
We're probably going to go buy a lamp.
well, but this isn't a house. This is it's apartment buildings.
yeah, it's the dwelling unit.
Yeah,
Your typical
so-
dwelling.
I don't like dining areas and I don't like seating areas just because, I could be sitting there looking at my phone and the occupancy sensor it doesn't pick me up in my office half the time.
Yeah.
Is that common areas?
In common areas.
It is italicized. I wonder if it's in the
Common areas. Okay.
So I wonder if it's like not the dwelling unit.
And okay, number 2 is indwelling units, not less than 1 receptacle shall be controlled by a switch.
Well, it says common though, it's just all conditioned spaces within group R occupancy buildings that are not dwelling units or sleeping units.
Okay.
It could be anywhere.
So hallways or
Yeah.
meeting areas, that's fine.
Study areas.
Yeah, I mean,
Are we still talking over 3 stories and we're talking apartment buildings?
Right.
Yep.
When's the last time we built an apartment building over 3 stories here?
we're doing one in the bluffs right now.
It happened on 31st Street right now.
Oh, okay.
Doing one up on campus.
Yeah. We got apartment too.
Historically, you're right, Adrian.
So this would
Adrian, pay
go.
attention to your community, man.
I don't get out west much.
About how little energy we're actually saving when everything's LED and
Mhm.
it'll probably irritate people more than the 30 cents they save that month.
Right. I do like how Overland Park amended it and took 3 out. Honestly, I thought you had to have those in anyway. In laundry areas and any public areas, we pretty much put occupancy sensors in anyway. So I just don't like number 3.
So am I hearing strike out number 3 only?
I'm good with that.
Do you want to do the same thing that you did before and take a,
Do we have a motion to amend 406-255 to strike 3?
So moved.
I second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
that's a 10-0 vote.
Keeping number one though, you're still saying you still have to have ox sensors at
Yeah,
dining areas and that, so I'm not sure how we really.
we always have done that anyway. I mean,
Okay, but I thought that you just said you don't like it.
oh, I was thinking that was within the dwelling unit. This is common areas. In common areas, then it goes
Oh,
1.1.
Be like, she thought that was within the dwelling unit
Yeah.
itself, and she's like, doesn't make sense, yeah.
Okay, yeah,
Okay,
fair. Keep my vote.
Right. Next is this performance-based compliance. So we do not see this a lot here in Lawrence. We might start seeing it more with the adoption of the new codes, but this is now it's called the total building performance. Wait, I'm sorry. It was the total building performance and now it's the simulated. So we're looking at the 21. Forgive me, this gets confusing. And the 21 is called, this is the path where you have to base your energy on your total annual energy cost of the building. So it's not the prescriptive path. So this was the total building performance path. Now they've renamed it in the 24, the simulated building performance path. But they made some big changes in 21 and 24. So it says this performance path requirements, they're now located in tables instead of using the mandatory and prescriptive labels throughout the code. The annual energy cost of less than or equal to 85% of the standard reference design is what's required if using this path. In 2024, and I don't think it's on the significant changes here, but it's no longer 85%, but now, oh, maybe it is. Now they have to meet the, and I don't think it's 407. Yeah. So I'm sorry, I think I locked myself, you guys. There's tables now that you have to meet. So it's no longer the 85%, but you have to meet these tables in 407.2.1, which for some reason is not.
Yeah, they striked out a percentage.
Yeah. Oh, here we go. So you've got to comply with these sections in the table. And you must have less of an annual energy cost than what is calculated in equation 4-34. So it's just a little bit of a different way to do the path. It talks about why this is different. And I don't have a lot to share on it. We don't use this path very often. I don't have a lot of experience with it. So
unless there's a huge issue on a project, no one's ever going to use this. This is lead.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what it comes down to.
I've seen it maybe twice, maybe actually just once, but.
I mean, I think you leave it and let that option be there. But
Yeah.
Do you don't think that this would give anybody an advantage doing it this way versus Comtech?
yeah, but I mean, that's, if you leave it in there, they have that option.
Right.
But it's actually more stringent. It's harder to meet.
Oh, you think so?
Yeah, I think so.
I know on the residential side, this is the easiest way to comply. Simulated performance. Actually, significantly easier.
Okay, so now we get into the last, this is the last chapter for the commercial energy portion, other than the appendices. So we get into additional energy credits for additions and alterations, which is a really large change, in my opinion, from
All new.
Right, from previous energy code editions. So in short, Now, if you have an addition, you have to obtain 50% of the required number of additional energy efficiency credits. So those tables we were looking at, based on your occupancy and your climate zone, you have to get 50% of those. So if it was 10, you have to get 5 of those. So a lot of this stuff, again, you'll probably be using already, hopefully, in the building and get those points that way. There are additional requirements for roof, ceiling, and attic alterations for insulation. When you replace the full exterior wall covering on one or more elevations, insulation must be required, which we saw that in the existing building code. And we talked about that amendment where if you're replacing the wall covering, you have to comply with requirements for the insulation and
Did OP do anything with this?
They deleted the renewable energy systems out of it, saying that we don't have to comply with putting the renewable energy systems on an addition.
So that is, well, that section is for C405.15. Oh, no, I'm so sorry. 502.
5023.
50238. Oh, but you have to comply with 405.15 for renewable energy. My bad. That's for this is the addition section. I don't think they did a very good job on the significant changes to show us. Here's the renewable systems here. And then it talks about energy use intensities. But so I wanted to look at the code here for this section, not just the significant changes, because chapter 5. Okay. So this is a big one. You can kind of see all the blue are changes. So I was talking about, so this is for alterations. Go back up here so we can see this is an alteration to a building. So they still have some exceptions that you don't have to comply with requirements for new construction, provided that you don't increase the energy use. So these have always kind of been in there. I think that they have buffed up some of the language. We can go through all this. So they have some requirements for roof, ceiling, attic insulation. And to me, it kind of seems like basic things. When you expose a roof cavity, you need to fill it with insulation and things like that. So it's just kind of, we didn't see anything that's really anything alarming here. What we did see that we felt like there were going to be, this is that above grade wall alteration we had talked about previously for replacement walls covering. But what we did see, let me get down to it here. Yeah, exactly. So here you can see where the alteration requires compliance with these sections, then you have to do duct testing. I'm sorry, system acceptance testing, duct testing on alterations. So replacing equipment, I think, is what they're leaning towards. Laura, we kind of were hoping you could help us with that. Duct testing is required when relocating or increasing more than 25% of the lengths of the ducts in a space. So this, must size new HVAC equipment that is part of an alteration. So there's some changes in here.
So if I was going to just replace some equipment, I'd have to retest all the ductwork.
That's what it's saying. If you replace, any alteration includes 25% or more of the total length of the ducts if they're relocated, and total length of all ducts in the system is increased by 25% or more.
So then, no, I could replace the system without having to test.
Yeah.
So Jane, is that how you're?
Yeah, I was worried about that because, well, at 10,000 square feet, I don't think you're going to get to 1 million BTUs. So
Yeah.
Sure.
that exception. And then the exception,
And
anything that serves individual dwelling. So if you have, like we looked at residential on the fire systems and the automatic alarms. So it's excluding if you do a system that does an individual dwelling unit, you don't have to you don't have to upgrade everything.
right,
So
just the area
you
that
can
it's
do
effective.
those pieces at a time.
If you've got a 20,000 square foot office remodel and you're changing enough of the end of the duct, but you have ductwork from 1962s that say you got to test all this ductwork. And let's say it fails, would you tear it all out, put all new in? So now you waste all the materials instead of reusing. And that's going to be an increase in energy and, you know, the whole embodied energy, tear out a bunch of ductwork.
Or ceiling though, right?
Could be.
But if it's over a finished ceiling and a lot of those attic spaces
Yeah.
are so small, you can't get in there.
Turn out.
So now you're I just trying to look.
You'd have to tear the ceiling to do the duct insulation and see, you'd have to tear the whole thing out.
All the embodied energy and tearing everything out to put back to save a little bit. I'm just looking at the kind of like your LED lighting. Spend $50,000 to save a few light bulbs.
I definitely want to spend some more time digging into this section because I think that, I mean, it even talks about rooftop units and how you're going to have to mess with the insulation and the curb.
Yes, you have to put a curb on it, so it's gonna have to be 4 to 6 inches higher minimum.
You're tearing
And
them.
then
This, well,
I mean,
the whole
it
section.
kills me when I go in and they've had 3 different brands, so they have 3 curbs and it's put off the roof. I'm like,
Yeah.
no one could take it down, no one could take one of those curbs back
Okay.
off.
Yeah.
Well, they didn't know what was on there, so it's,
We have that, the controls, system sizing. I don't know if we want to go through these piece by piece.
yeah, I want to see what, if the alteration complies with, so new systems that are part of the alteration will comply. So what alteration, what trips it?
Buildings are less than, and doesn't.
Okay, let's see. So you're saying what alteration trips?
How far can you go before you have to do all that?
Before you have to go all the way back to C4035.
So alterations to any building shall comply with this requirement. So we want to know what an alteration is and with the code. So let's go
2 or
to
3.
While she does that, JJ, I know we need to go back because we had mentioned 2 different code sections to potentially vote on and we only talked about one.
let's
But we'll go back. Bless you, Neil.
So extension, addition, or change to the arrangement, type of purpose of the original installation.
so it.
There's mine, right?
Renovation. So if there is a repair where you're just basically, I don't know if that's a replacement. We could go look at repair real quick. Let me just go look at repair. Unfortunately, you can't just jump to.
So would that consider a like item, same?
Right.
Yeah.
Would be a repair.
We may need to do that.
If you're extending it by 25%, then that's, but you might still.
So see,
Maintenance.
400 linear foot of ductwork.
repair is maintenance or current damage. That's not
Tear
taking
it
a
out.
box of equipment out and putting a new box in. Like or not, it's not.
That's not a
Repair.
repair. Yeah.
There's some kind of a, can get stuck in this ductwork thing that's, they're not expecting you to hold it to new construction standards. Like, okay, stuff was built 50 years ago. It's probably not super tight. We're going to make them spend $100,000 and a ton of embodied energy to tear out all the seals and so forth. Or we're going to say, hey, they get a 25%, whatever,
Right.
decrease / increase to say, okay, let's give them a little bit of, if you got some wide ass open holes, I think it probably ought to fix it, but
Tear it all out.
tear it all out to me seems absolutely counter.
Is that addressed in the existing building code at all? Do we know offhand?
You want some
Maybe not.
name?
Anybody really?
So, yeah, in the existing building
John's exactly
code,
right. I would maybe I shouldn't be, but I'd just be surprised if that wasn't accounted for some.
It is. So in the existing building code, you have levels of alteration. So if you've got a level 1 alteration, level 2, level 3, and you have repairs. So a level 1 alteration is where you're replacing something like for like, and you're just replacing it. A level 2 is where you're maybe replacing it, but you also have to extend the service. You're modifying it somehow, or you're adding, or you're changing. So they do have those, but that would not have. That would be, I think that's different from the energy code. So that would be the requirements for the existing building, but this specifically.
So I want,
We can pull it up.
So the question is it the question, does alterations include all those levels in the existing building?
We want to be sure that, to Sean's point, that we're not making somebody tear out, essentially spend more in resources and money to make something energy efficient.
Code commentary might help us on this.
So much so that you're defeating the purpose.
Well, and you're going to have historic building issues.
Historic's the thing, yeah.
Turn up faster.
Right, because then there's the whole, if you touch this wall, then you have to do this. If you put,
So it's fine, whatever that trigger
Energy
is.
code, anything about historic, like.
Yeah.
I don't,
I mean, if are there outs for historic buildings?
Yes,
in the energy code?
not,
I don't think it's.
historic buildings don't have to comply with energy code for like insulation. If you're replacing a window, it needs to be a new window. It needs to meet the U factor. But if you're just, you don't have to meet the insulation values.
But if I have to duct test, that means I might be tearing out all that.
The mechanical systems I'm sketchy on. I don't know. I'm just thinking in terms of exterior envelope items, you don't have to upgrade because you don't have to tear out old lath plaster to get 12 inches of insulation in a foreign cavity, you know?
So this is the existing building code. We're looking here, it's the 18, sorry. And so these are the chapters. So you have a prescriptive, you have repairs, prescriptive, and then you have these level 1, 2, and 3, change of occupancy, addition, and then you have this whole chapter just for historic buildings. So that this chapter might, say what Mike's talking about, but, and so it would say, yeah, and it would say you don't have to put in any insulation, you don't have to do this. I know that the code, when you have, I don't think there's anything in the energy code that talks about historic exemptions. Like there's nothing in there that I'm aware of. I definitely could be wrong. But so if you have the existing building code says you don't have to do this, and then you go to the energy code.
It says you do.
Typically the more restrictive code is required, but I don't know how that works because does anybody else know of an historic exemption in the energy code?
No, well, and like
It's the other way around. I mean, I think the historic exemptions in the existing building code don't reference the energy code like the other sections do. It's an omission, basically.
And that doesn't help a building that's not on the list. So you have a building from 1975 that maybe has some pretty good infrastructure. You want to reuse, and it's like,
and this may be 10 or 15 years old, but like in California for accessibility stuff, they used to only require you spend 20 or 25% of your total construction costs to upfit it, right?
It's still up there.
So I wonder if
for accessibility,
yeah, it's just a triggers. Like they're not going to make you reconfigure your entire building because you have a curb at your front door, but you might have to remodel your restroom to make it ADA compliant, right? Or put a ramp on the inside instead of a stair. But they're not making you rip out all your ductwork and start over on a historic home,
Right. Generally, the direction of the code has always been, if you don't touch it, you don't have to fix it. But this air duct testing, I don't know how you would do that. I mean, I just did a residential where he added on to a new room. Of course, we made him tape and seal the new ductwork, but we didn't make him go back and fix the old ductwork. There's so much existing ductwork, you would never be able to comply with the system.
And again, we're on the commercial side.
Right. That was just an example.
I'm thinking for myself, Adrian, not you.
Look at 5015.
Yeah, so I wouldn't make duct testing that you'll never be able to comply if you add 25% of the duct. You have to go, talking about the trunk line and everything else testing
Yeah.
off.
There you go.
Yeah,
And
I would
look
delete
at-
that section or amend it.
There it is.
That's the only section in the code that I can find that really is just referencing historic.
Close as we
But it
get.
has to be,
On the list,
Yes,
registered.
it has to be registered.
That 1970s building, it's
Let's
Well, I
just,
at least have it noted that I agree that we should have some sort of mechanism there
yeah.
to protect, I would say.
Yeah, I can do. it for
Good
you.
job, AI.
Oh, come on.
I'm not,
Give me a little credit.
good job, Brian.
I
Using AI.
I knew how to word and get the AI result.
International Code
what did
Council,
OP do?
artificial intelligence.
What, AJ?
Did OP amend this section? Because I would amend that section out for duct testing. That's just doesn't make sense.
They didn't amend it.
They didn't.
No. Also, they're using you're gonna have to do energy analysis on it.
Yeah, and I mean, 25%. So if you took an open office floor plan and you wanted to close it down, you would be you wouldn't be adding load,
Right.
but you would be adding smaller,
Yeah,
more takeoffs.
yeah.
You could definitely
Yeah,
change 25%.
yeah, if it's multi-floor and you've got a big chase in the middle and you've got all the ducts and chase and
I think
you can't get
25% is a pretty low number.
seal up. Look at that.
This is almost it. We're almost done with me.
All right.
So, let's look at that one for a little while and just see, it's not that
Look at just
you
5,
gotta have an economizer, if that makes sense, these things, but
just the duct section.
what trips the alteration?
Right.
Okay.
And if there isn't one or if we disagree with it, what would you like it to be?
And then it could be steps like what we have existing in the alternation 1, 2, 3
Right.
levels of,
That could be.
Yeah, we may just reference. to
Because, then you
limits
get
that
here,
exist. Yeah.
new equipment.
and if it's part of an alteration, so if you don't replace it until next month, because you'll be not part of your alteration.
Yeah, I mean, really.
Right, yeah. But I think we were wondering if this would even be for over the counter where we get the HVAC, furnace and AC replacement. So even though it's not part of the alteration, does it meet the alteration definition?
Threshold or whatever
And
that is.
if it fails while they're in construction, they still have to replace it, like,
Yeah.
even though if they're in the alteration.
And OP left 503.3 and everything else alone.
Appears to be.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it goes on there, curb heights, water heaters, and lighting. And then for alterations, you need to get, alterations that are considered substantial improvements will require additional energy efficiency credits. So substantial improvements is now defined in the code where it's like I think we're all probably heard of it with floodplain, like when you have 50% or more of your building is the cost of your building is 50% opposed to the construction, it's a 50% number. So when you have that, alterations that are considered substantial improvements will require additional energy efficiency credits. So yeah, I think we saw some possible issues with this.
Yeah, it's gonna be hard to.
We didn't really see anything with repairs. Obviously, nothing really changed. And then the change of occupancy was similar. Change of occupancy. Now they have a use matrix table. So that's that. A matrix table ranking the energy uses has been added. When a building changes intensity rank, the specific system must comply with the code. An increase in energy use in all three in all three uses triggers full compliance with the code. Otherwise, only partial compliance will be required based on the tables. There are 2 exceptions. The insights say the section was rewritten in the 24 IECC to improve enforceability by identifying energy use intensity, which they call EUI, as the compliance evaluation method. Historic energy intensity per square foot is recorded for commercial buildings in the Commercial Buildings Energy Consumption Survey. That data provides the framework to rank building occupancies in the order of the energy intensities. This method is similar to what has been used in the IEBC since its earliest edition. Based on the new tables for ranking occupancies, these requirements will most likely affect storage or residential, converting to a new higher use. Some other examples will apply, but will not be common. So that's what the insight said, but basically it's almost, the same thing when you.
In terms of what you would have a percentage. So if you jump from medium to high or low to medium,
Right.
you have to comply completely.
So there are different. So for your mechanical system, if you go from an S2 to an R4, then you have a medium.
Yeah.
So when you.
Do you guys even have the manpower to make sure that all this is going to be compliant?
Same or increase.
Well, that's a great point because I think
systems.
Go ahead.
They have to comply with C403, which is for new construction.
Right.
So
that's just a straight up change of use. I mean,
yeah,
I understand the rationale behind it, right? But
what is it?
So if you go from any occupancy other than these to one of these, then you're going to have to comply with this section. 100%. So it's based on whatever it is that you're changing. You have to go through each one and go, okay, I'm at an A2 and now I'm going to an A1. So I don't have to comply with this because my use is lower.
How often are you involved in that, Laura or SJ, where they're going up in terms of use, more dense assembly space, and you're asked to upfit mechanical systems to accommodate more people, essentially? Is that very often?
Well, I don't have anything to do until the plans come out.
What we see is more like retail going to restaurant. So, I'm not talking 25,000 square foot buildings.
People are making jumps.
Yeah, you might get from 60 to 150.
Sure.
Occupant.
But not from low to medium, medium to high, maybe.
Now that's mercantile and assembly.
Going back to Laura's questions.
That one. Yeah.
15,000 square feet. So
going back to Laura's question, do we have how'd you word it?
The manpower.
I think I think 507 and the OP, is that the inspections and testing part of that?
Yeah.
They amended that code. I think I haven't confirmed this. I think probably for that reason.
They took a bunch of the code compliancy agency out. They went through it and took it, notice of approval, means of appeal, stop work order. That's insane.
That's one of my concerns is, this is wild stuff, right?
And this is why in California, it takes probably about 6 months to get a permit for a Chipotle.
Just because of the technical aspects.
Yeah, really.
Oh, for Chipotle?
Yeah.
Which is boy, could you imagine if we had this for Costco? They'd be killing us right now.
Well, I've got this one that we'll come back to because I think this, they do have some exemptions here. So, and then you have the chart and it sounds like we don't see a lot of, changing the uses to these more intense uses. So maybe we'll come back to this. I only have one other thing.
Okay.
I'm sorry, two other things, but I'm almost done. So the last part is the appendices. So they've added quite a few. We kind of looked through most of them, but there was two, Appendix CG, which is the electric vehicle charging infrastructure. So this, we talked about electrical vehicle charging is now required in the land development code. So this may be something to look at adopting because our zoning code now requires it. So this is
So how much do they require?
I couldn't tell you, but it's for all new.
That's pretty typical.
Yeah, this is pretty vicious. I think it's 20%, starts out at 20% that have to be active. You got the plug-in. And then 75% has to have a has to be ready.
And so I,
Holy.
Yeah.
Neil, are you saying the 75% of the the parking spaces have to be, is that what you're saying?
Yeah, so
Well, that's what ICC is.
yeah, if you got a parking garage, you gotta have a raceway where you can space
Wow.
the power, and you gotta have a transformer big enough to source.
Yeah, you gotta get, the cords need to kind of come in.
We have to meet ADA. There's a lot of.
so I do Waymo charging
Light bulb and
facilities.
occupancy.
They're taking over warehouse spaces all over the country and putting indoor charging facilities in. I can tell you one of their chargers takes 301 amps at 480 volts.
Say that again?
One of their,
Yeah,
Go ahead.
one charger, their 200 kW charger takes 301 amps charging at 480 volts.
4 phase.
Wow.
That's a lot.
Wow.
So 200 kilowatt.
yes.
Well, we should look at our zoning. We should look and see what our zoning and kind of follow that like we do congregate residences, I guess.
And so the power that is required for these, and I know the smaller commercial ones, I mean, they're doing fast charging, to get those crazy self-driving cars in and out. But it's gonna just kill our grid. I mean, all these electric cars charging stations.
Some ways we're trying to save the grid. In other ways, we're going to kill the grid.
By light bulb turn off.
Oh, jeez.
For 20 minutes an hour.
That'd be tough.
Dictating, oh, no.
That's what a regular charger. We do also charging outside charging stations all over the place too. So I-
And we're switching to electric cars, we're also switching to electric homes.
Mhm.
So I think this appendix, and I did not research it, but I think this, unless you adopt it, EV charging is not required by the energy code. I thought this was, if you adopted this, you'd have the requirements that you meet when you put in EV charging, but it looks like this is, when you adopt
You have to adopt this.
then it says you have to provide these spaces in accordance with this table here based on your occupancy, and here's all of the requirements. So maybe this is something we definitely don't want to look at adopting because it's already required by the land development code.
Not a lot of Rivians in Douglas County.
But I assume the land development code doesn't have any correlation to this.
No.
It will not match.
No, it won't match, but this is telling you the capacity. I mean, it tells you what's required when you have these spaces.
Sure.
And so, but if you adopt this, I think that it's going to say these are required.
Yeah, if we don't adopt this appendix, we're good.
And if we don't adopt this appendix, I'm pretty sure elsewhere in the energy code has similar. So you don't have to adopt this to have the
EV
footprint
charging station.
to have this information in the code. So let's
This is just
say that.
charging on steroids, kind of.
So the typical outdoor charger is probably a 400 kW charger at 480 volt is what we put in at gas stations, convenience stores all over the country. And so 5 of those chargers, you're at 1,000 kVA transformer, 480 volts. So 1,200 amps.
How many?
1,200 amps at 480 volts for 5 chargers.
5 chargers?
Is this one of those things where if you the market is gonna kind of drive this? I mean, if I got an electric vehicle and I want to go shopping, and where I want to go shopping doesn't have charging, then I'm not going to go there.
Right.
You
go to the one that has charging.
Well, I go to Hy-Vee a lot on Clint Parkway. I think I've seen one car being charged there in 100 visits.
Or there are cars that are not electric parked there.
Well, also the electric car market has gone down dramatically. I mean, look what happened to the DeSoto
But it's
plant.
gonna take off again.
Yeah, I mean,
All new.
people don't
I would
understand.
say-
You got to make electricity from something.
Yeah.
I would suggest we not adopt this. That's just my opinion.
Okay. Okay, that was pretty much it. I had one thing about demand responsive controls, but I think it was more of a heads up than a thing. So, and I don't think we need to go through it. So I think staff is finished with the presentation of the significant changes of the 21 and the 24.
Staff.
Yes, exactly.
Not yet, for the day. Laura, did you have anything to add to significant changes?
I think we've gone through most of them. If everyone's had a chance, I haven't looked through this lately, but, I think we can start going through it.
We'll reference back.
Yeah, reference back. There's a couple of things I do want to look at closer, some of the HVAC items for sure.
Refresh my memory, that was just your notes of changes that are worthy of discussion.
Right, yes.
Not whether you want to keep it in or amend it out.
No, and what I plan to do is I go through here, I'm going to go through and kind of vote on some of this stuff on just myself.
Yourself, bring it back to the table. Okay.
I'd recommend.
All right. Are we ready for the chaos?
Do we want to stop sharing? Yeah,
Buckle
I
up.
just stopped sharing. Matt,
It's pretty simple.
Okay, so are we ready for that? I'll leave the kickoff and then
We're ready.
there. All
I got
right,
it.
so between what has happened since our last meeting, first I went to the Johnson County Building Officials meeting last Friday and confirmed that, remember I told you guys Senate Bill 418 caused most jurisdictions in the Johnson County area, 13 of 18 are staying with just the 2018 IRC. So we're not going to have two building codes. This board voted on it and said, keep the 2018. Well, that's a little problematic when you're talking about adopting the energy code, right? Because it's got residential in it too. So internally, Janet, who is she with us today online?
So,
Kimberly, Matt, and I have been really trying to figure out options to give you guys in scenarios, because it gets really confusing quickly, because chapter 11 of the 2018 IRC references the 2018 IECC. Then you got 3 stories or more on the commercial side, 3 stories or less on the residential side. So Matt came up with this brilliant color-coded document for us to show a workflow, because what we did is we had to get on the whiteboard. And in fact, there's our work that we did 2 days ago to show you how we got there, because if you just talk about it without writing it down, it can get really confusing very quickly. So I will let Matt take over from here. Basically, what we are asking before the conclusion of this meeting today is we want to have you guys give us the direction on how we proceed, even though we just went through many things on the 24 IEC, what we want to mend out or keep. We want to go through this. Matt, take over. Or you want me to run it through this?
Well, I can run through this pretty easily. I think the big question is, do we, and we'll go through this, I say presentation, it's not really that. Do we want to move forward with adopting the 2024 IECC at all right now, or staff recommends pausing on adopting 2024 IECC for now during this implementation and amendment cycle, get everything else 24 adopted by the first part of next year, and then I think we need much more time and more expertise to tackle the energy code. I think we could do this for a few months just on energy.
Because if we don't do what Matt's suggesting, this is what it's going to kind of look like. We would adopt the commercial side of the 24 IECC. We would strike out the residential part, but we would have to do some amendments somewhere to include the 3-story or less. See where I'm going with this?
This is confused even further by Senate Bill 418, right? That says anyhow,
418,
1 or 2.
We go, if it wasn't there, we'd go through the 24 IRC and we wouldn't be having this discussion.
So this is 2 things. This is, and you can follow the flow chart, so I don't need to read you through it. But the reason we had to do this is because of Senate Bill 418. And then the board did vote 6-5 to only stick with 2018 IRC and not do a 2024 IRC for homes 2501 and larger. So this is simple. 1 and 2 family, building codes 2018 IRC, and then energy stays IRC in the chapter 11 of the 2018 energy conservation code. Then commercial stuff is easy as well, 2024 IBC. And if we move forward with at least portions of it, 24 energy as well. The problem child is this residential scope that is administered essentially by IBC and then the energy code, because it's 3-unit residentials, but it's 3 stories or less. So this is kind of this sort of missing middle for a lot of reasons, but it's this middle housing that is difficult to regulate if we adopt the 24 energy.
We just went through the 24 commercial chapter of the energy code. We have not looked at the residential chapter. But when you get an apartment building or a fourplex or anything more than 3 units that's less than 3 stories, you're supposed to go to the residential chapter of the energy code. Now that we are staying on the 2018 residential.
Yes.
We were
The dwelling units greater than a townhome, 1 and 2 family dwellings aren't captured.
The
we have no home for
IRC.
them.
We have no
We
home.
either have to adopt this code in its entirety, and now we have to go through the residential section of this code for all multifamilies, 3 stories or less. Or there are some other options too. Options, Matt. That's our whiteboard options.
Yeah, that's the 1, 2, 3 that I've kind of summarized into this part here for those that can see the whiteboard. But we're not suggesting to not adopt it ever. It's essentially putting it off for a year.
But aren't we also talking about if we did the green? Well, hold on, let me backtrack. We would recommend to the board, I thought, that we would do some amendments to the 2018 IEC residential part to
Potentially
to do
like we would add the sampling
part, for example.
stuff. Yeah.
We could add the sampling, and we can do that very easily. And this discussion takes off very quickly. And this is when we run out of time and resources. If we want to do anything other than that, I think we need more time.
So just as a question, I want to clarify 2 things.
Yeah.
2 important things to me. Does the city have staff to enforce that energy code?
No, what we'd have to do is push it onto the applicants for third-party inspection.
We don't think so.
No, I agree with you. Number 2, does the city's construction and does the city's amount of business structure, in other words, economic development, that to me adds additional cost burden to us developing more economic development,
Absolutely.
Which is very important to this
It
county.
flies in the face of what we're trying to
But
accomplish.
Warren, it goes back to that balancing act of it being green and energy efficient and saving energy, no brownouts for bigger cities. Doesn't really apply to Lawrence, Kansas. And then versus the cost.
Mm-hmm. To me, I agree. I think putting it off a year to see what everybody else is thinking. And I mean, I'm obviously as a board, I'm just saying from my standpoint, I think there's some very important things in that code.
Yeah.
But are we making the wrong mistake by jumping into it without really not looking at where this is actually going to land Douglas County? That's sorry.
And I don't think we know that.
And Adrian made a good point on one code section. Let's let it play out and see how it works. With OP being the only jurisdiction going to the 24-hour energy code in this area, that might apply really well to this, and let it see how it plays out. I know OP's task force, I don't know what it consisted of, but they had 7 meetings. I don't know how long, if they were 3 or 4 hours. Say they were 4-hour meetings. They put about 30 hours into this.
Dedicated energy board?
I don't know who,
Right?
I don't know the makeup of that board. But they did the 24 energy code across the board because they adopted the 24 residential code. So it made sense for them to do it. But we're here, one of our main purposes is to educate you, give you the facts, what other people are doing, what we think, and let you guys help us make that decision. That's why we've struggled with this internally, because some of, like the sampling of units, if we keep the commercial 24, that's already there. But then how about for more than 3 stories? Well, we're missing the under 3-story structures on that. That's probably.
And we know.
What's that?
What other codes do we have to review?
Man, we're
Fire.
wrap up. We have to do fire. Remember, there's a couple code sections in the IBC that mimic mirror the fire that we want to get Chris with you guys. So that will be minor on the IBC because we've already pretty much done that. The International Fire Code's up next.
Fire's the only one we haven't looked at all.
And then all I got to do is keep working on the admin articles that are pretty self-explanatory.
I like the idea of putting it off for now and maybe cherry picking a few items that we like out of this code and amending it into the 2018 until we have time to really go through it and maybe get a committee together to do it.
That's pretty much where we landed.
For these 3+ units. Because, I mean, okay, so we talk about you don't have a lot of single family building permits, new construction. I think they don't count duplexes, so you do have more of those than the single family. But we also have the 3+ units and 4plexes and
a lot of them coming.
Like all the stuff they're putting in downtown where it's higher density. And
falling in that too.
Could be.
To go back to
that 3+.
I see a lot of projects, but you guys know, is this going to make a huge cost? So they're like, oh, I'm not going to redevelop that space downtown now because now it's 30% more and I can't cover that in rent.
Well, and even like on the economic development, someone at economic development board, the developers are like, if we have to do a lot of things, we're not bringing developers.
I mean, you guys see projects that are already in play, and if this changes as of January or July, those projects may just.
There's probably 3 residential developers I work with regularly who just stopped working in Lawrence. They work in Baldwin and DeSoto, and just because they can't, and they don't even nobody knows how to use the portal. So now I'm like the portal guy.
Oh no!
So you get kicked out like 5 times a day.
That's great.
Well, if I could offer my opinion, a lot of that stuff with the resistance is the portal, and I've become the portal guy also. But the codes, the I codes are designed to all work together. Back in the early 2000s, we went through a big thing with the city commission about these blended codes and how complicated they are. You remember now, if each cycle of codes, not only do they have the provisions, but they also have the standards that each code points to. So if you start blending 2018 codes and 2024 codes and all that other stuff, it kind of makes it difficult for somebody to come to town and design because they got to look in, as a designer, they got to, well, Lawrence has this code for this and this code for that, and jumping back and forth between codes instead of looking at one cycle of codes. And remember now, for the most part, for 1 and 2 family dwellings, which are the concern with the 2018 codes, that's strictly regulated out of the IECC, right? So we're talking about a kind of narrowly defined section of the residential portions of the IECC that would be in conflict with the 2024 code. So, like I said, my concern is that the codes are designed to work together. They're not designed to be blended. And so when you start blending codes, then it makes it more difficult. It leads to mistakes in not only the design phase, but in the construction phase. But I don't think there's,
Adrian, doesn't that statement lend more to like not going to the 24 for that reason? I mean, Senate Bill 418 really handcuffed us. I mean, we're fully understanding the implications of this as we move forward, and this is really a snag in the line, so to speak, about how we move forward.
I agree. But now remember, we've adopted the 2024 building code, plumbing code, mechanical code, fire code, and then we're going to kind of, out of all those codes that are under the 2024 cycle, you're going to pull out the energy code, and they reference each other. I imagine that in the 2018, in the 2024 codes, they reference the 2024 energy code for mechanical, plumbing, and electrical. So we're going to amend all of that out of all those other codes. My point is the codes are designed to work together and not be blended. And when you start blending codes, people come to Lawrence or designers come to Lawrence. Well, we got 2024 18 IRC, 18 IEC, 24 building, fire, electrical. I mean, it's just
Adrian, you wanted 2 IRCs.
I thought that would have been easier.
Yeah, I did too, but it's just
I don't think it's an issue to leave IECC as a standalone. And if we need to do a blanket statement on all the other code books saying reference the 2018 IECC or the currently adopted Lawrence version, right? I think we can do that with a sentence or two.
We see this all over the country.
Yeah, I do too.
There's a lot of people that don't update to the latest energy code. A lot of jurisdictions that don't. It's pretty typical because you got to remember all the lighting watts per square foot is covered in the NEC. You know, your mechanical efficiencies, those are all covered in the mechanical. All that is already pretty much covered. This is just more of total building compliance and making sure everything ties together on the energy code and how to track it.
Get stuck.
Building envelope, probably
Yeah.
more so than systems.
Yes, I mean, if we don't have the resources to enforce, and we're just adopting it to either keep the number the same, or well, we're a green community, without understanding that we're probably adopting some stuff that is actually counterproductive to the overall global impact of resources and energy savings. So on the surface, or there's potential that we're actually hurting the environment because we're making people do more crap without really understanding that. Just say, well, we want to adopt it. We're good stewards. Let's adopt it.
No,
I go back to I like your idea of let's get a year. Let's learn this stuff.
and we're not saying we're not going to adopt it.
We just need more time.
I think all city staff sees value there, obviously, but
But Brian, that's an argument or point for never making our buildings in the city of Lawrence more efficient because it's going to cost more. That's what it always comes down to with the energy code. And when do you move forward? Lawrence has been a leader in energy efficient 1 and 2 family dwellings. We always have. So I kind of like personally, I like OP's direction.
Well,
but OP
They didn't adopt 24 IECC.
I thought
OP did.
Well, they did. They're the only ones that did. I'm sorry.
They're the only ones that did.
Yep.
I mean, everyone else, I talked to them, everyone else just said, we're not doing it.
Yeah, because they don't understand it mostly. But
Well, and I think that's a legitimate concern.
Yeah.
We're adopting the minimum code. So if we were to stay with 2018, if somebody wanted to do their building to 2024,
Yeah.
okay, yeah, that is a point because it's not like SB 418 where they
Right.
can't.
Yeah.
One of my biggest concerns is not necessarily cost, Adrian, because that argument's always going to be there, right? That doesn't go away. My concern is the impacts, without knowing the impacts on workflow for us, inspections. I think 507, does anyone have OPs 507 on the inspections? If someone can let me see that real quick.
107.
I mean, my main thing is I want to see you guys not be so burdened with this. I want to make your day-to-day easier so we can get building permits done quicker for you guys in a timely manner. And anything we can do to help.
It's like weighing things. If you can say that one, it's like weighing. Like we all want to do the most energy efficient stuff,
Right.
and we all want affordable housing, and we all want developers to come. We just can't do it all at the same time.
In the administrative part,
Right.
The inspection
So-
testing, 107.
I think it's.
Yeah, I've got it.
I think the economic development stuff for Lawrence in this very instance is actually very important and a valid reason to think about it. Because if we say we're trying to bring business in, we're trying, and then we make it more expensive for them to build here, they're going to go, "What are we doing?"
Stuff
We're like, "What are we doing?"
Can you
It's at least worth a discussion.
Can you read
right?
107 Overland Parks
Go ahead.
inspection or well, okay. Well, the point is, read anything that's relevant to. They're putting it on third-party inspections, right?
Yeah,
Which is
cost.
which to me it has to be.
And people don't have the time to do it. Engineers, I mean, they're going to call us and say, "Do you have time to do these inspections?"
Say no
But I'm sure Overland Park did that
for this giant extra fee. Of course.
for that reason that we're talking about, right? Now it's on the commercial side. We're not even talking about the residential side. I don't know what they did.
But Mike, to your point, whatever number we land on, right? 5 dwellings or 6, whatever that is between us and fire, or 4, if Chief King gets his way. Above that, Timberly, correct me, they'll be on new energy for congregate limits.
So the question,
Not 3 stories or less.
4 stories plus.
Right.
That's the trick.
say that again?
Right.
If congregate can stay at 3 stories or less, they're good.
Yes.
For lack of a better term.
Under 18.
Under the 18, yeah.
I-
It's the stories I forget.
I really like putting this off the International Energy Code. There are a lot of things in there I think we need to have looked at closer, but also have an initiative to make sure we get it done in the next 6 months or year, so it can be implemented at some
I
point.
think, yeah,
Plow, continue going through what we got going on to presentation and hopefully adoption, and then tackle this in the next 6 to 8 months in 27.
Because I could spend 3 weeks on issues that I see with it from what we've done around the country.
Yeah, and I think I think a timeline on it is important so that it doesn't just fizzle and we'll all get busy.
I mean, here's the fact of life. We're meeting every other week. We increased it. We increased our time. I think, and I appreciate that, but we're utilizing all of our time every time.
Yeah.
And I agree with Laura that this, I don't want to shortchange this. This has got the biggest implications of all the codes we look at, in my opinion, from how the city staff confirm compliance, how do we conduct field inspections, the reporting mechanisms, all of that stuff comes into play. I think we need more time.
I think we're doing a
Brian,
disservice to you and the public by just saying, screw it, we're not doing it at all, or just adopt it, or just taking it, and that's fine, without really looking at things that could impact people on both.
Because we're not going to meet our timeline
No way.
right now. There's no way.
Well, I wouldn't be opposed to delaying it, but what I'm opposed to is not adopting it.
Sure.
No, Adrian, we are not saying that at all.
Yeah.
I think, I just, for the reasons have been stated, that's where internally, and trust me, we went back and forth. We looked at, we like this option better, no, this one, and so forth. But, Senate Bill 418 is not going away.
No, and I think it needs to work. I think some things are going to be worked out on that.
But truly,
that's true. We don't know. I mean, I'm sure. Well, I don't know. We have no sunset on.
I mean, we can talk to Jim Brown, the building official with Overland Park, in the next 6 to 8 months and figure out. They just went live with it a month or two ago. They're gonna figure things out that hopefully we can learn from. I just think
because they think they can amend that code, right? And the state would have to challenge that if that's their opinion, right? Is that right?
Well, they're not looking to amend the 2018 IRC because they did the 24 IRC.
Okay.
They amended a few sections of the 2018 IRC. Their city attorney's office said they could do it before the effective date of July 1. Our city attorney's office took it to read, you can't do anything with it.
Okay. All right.
Yeah. Definitely can't do anything now. That's clear. After the effective date. So I would ask for someone to make a proposal of how we move forward with a motion and a second and a vote. So we have it on record, and then we can put this to rest, whatever that determination is, and continue on.
I would probably, the way I would word it would be, we need a motion to continue with the adoption of every section other than the energy code for December of 26, but we need to make a decision to adopt or not by December of 27 at the very latest. It's super long.
For the energy code.
For the energy code, the 2024.
So how about I summarize it
Yeah,
for
let's
you?
make a better version.
Well,
Yes, sorry.
Verbal diarrhea.
27 code out by then.
And maybe we're not, I mean, honestly, maybe that's when it needs to be, because
No later than
we need to
27, yeah.
really look at this and the impact of Douglas County again. I mean,
so
we've got a deficit in the city budget. We've got, I mean, there's a lot of factors that go into this.
There's a lot going on.
Yeah.
Outside of
Yeah.
fields.
Yeah, Warren, but those same arguments are going to come up in 27. That same, very, very same arguments are going to come up.
Well, but we don't have any time to
But we
review
will be
how they're
adding to
affected yet. That's the trouble. In 3 months, 4 months, we can't have all the ramifications of 24.
Well,
JJ figured out for us.
Yes.
Very summarized.
let me clarify something too. We have a projected timeline that we've shared with you from the very beginning. There's nobody crawling down my back right now saying it has to be met. We can go into 27 before we go and bring this before the commission for adoption. I don't want to go far into 27. If we don't hit this prior to 27, that's okay, but I expect us to hit it by March of 27.
What do you mean hit it? What are you
To
saying?
get all the codes before the commission
Oh,
for
you're not
adoption.
talking about the energy.
No, I'm not talking about the energy code. I'm talking about all the other codes.
Well, where is fire? How long is fire going to take? Warren, have you spoken to fire, Warren?
Yeah, it probably one meeting.
Oh, okay.
At our speed, I would
Okay.
say 2 to 3.
Yeah.
I mean, it's slated, I think. I mean, Jason's got a pretty good handle on the things that they're suggesting. They've done a pretty good job of laying it out.
And that's right. And nobody's chomping at the bit to amend life safety stuff out of the IECC.
So I see JJ's motion. I would recommend expanding that a little bit for the records to say, make a motion to keep the 2018 IECC for the foreseeable future as we continue with the adoptions of all the other international codes, with the plan to pick up the 24 IECC through at the beginning of the second quarter of 2027 or something like that.
I'll make that motion. It's not issue.
Well, hold on a second. That's
Well, why don't we just adopt everything else? And then, set the IECC aside.
Well,
And
isn't that
then,
what I just said?
I know, but we adopt everything else, get that done, and see where we are. And if we can continue on with the IECC, we'll do that.
Right.
But
Until it's
we'll go ahead,
formalized, yeah.
we'll go ahead, push that to the city commission, get it approved,
Yeah.
get it, codified. But then at the same time, we could
Keep
be working
working
on the
on it.
IECC.
Yeah, that's the idea.
And you don't need to put a date on, we're not going to look at the IECC until July 27th.
Okay, that works for me.
No, what I meant is we try to adopt it or not, a decision to adopt or not by, no later than X.
All right, Warren, take what I said and morph it into your own words.
I make that motion.
Oh,
let's put some dates on it. First quarter, second quarter, something.
Yeah.
I suggested that. I'm not tied to it. I was just in my thought process. I was throwing it out there to make the commitment and vote on that commitment. But not that I don't anticipate us not having that commitment. But I think the recommendation in wording should come from the board itself.
Well, you shouldn't use the word foreseeable future.
Yes.
So is the board recommendation moving forward to follow this chart? We've got the 1 and 2 family dwellings, and we are getting close to the standard building code 2024 IBC. We're getting close to the end of that review. We're putting the IECC at the end of the rest of the 2024, including fire, the rest of the discussion at the end, and we are going to concentrate on what's happening with the 3+ buildings, if we're going to leave them as is, or if we're going to push them to 2024.
And do we even need
Because
a motion
that's
for
this
that?
chart.
If we
That's
move
just
it?
what the board wants to do. Like, that's what we want to reference is this makes it clearer.
I think my question to the board is this: do you want to pick up the IECC prior to adopting the rest of the codes, or what I
I
heard
would like
was
to hear the fire so we can move forward with IBC before we push IECC back in the mix.
And just to throw something in real quick, we have not gone over the residential code.
Of the energy.
We've only gone to chapter 10 on the
And
IRC.
IRC, yeah.
So we still have to go back to the residential code and do the last.
But what I heard initially a few minutes ago was proceed with the rest of the codes that have been reviewed and that are coming up. Adopt those. We will review 24 separately.
Yep.
But second quarter.
Second quarter of 27.
Yes.
That way, everything else.
That's what I heard. That's what shocked
the commission.
But that's your decision.
That doesn't necessarily have to be made now. If we're done reviewing everything else, we can just
Okay.
either send it to be adopted or.
I just don't think we should spend any more time on it.
Right.
We're
Okay,
done with the other
so-
codes.
So as long as the board understands, we're moving forward today without any further energy right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because I think, you know, even to what Adrian said, I mean, there's both sides of this that are important, but
So I'm thinking like a long-term city employee, how this might look when I get before the city commission. Okay, so that's something you guys may not think about a lot. So I'm thinking about defending our decision. That's why I think I want a motion.
Well, and I think something to think about that I get asked constantly in every pre-application meeting is, when are you guys going to the new codes? Because we're trying to design, so when we had this, you know what I mean, on, like, we're expecting to be effective January 1. Well, now all those designers, they're going to be designing for the 24, and I got to go, whoops, we're still on the 18 now. But having a date that's like, here's where we're now anticipating that for planning purposes, I think it's kind of,
If we,
I gotcha.
yeah.
okay.
Brian, can you just
Wait,
say an
Adrian.
adoption date? Can you just?
Adrian, hold on. Laura has the floor.
I think Laura might have a solution for all this conversation.
I move that we continue reviewing the International Energy Codes 2024, except for the international codes 2024, except for the International Energy Code, maintain the 2018 at this time until we have come to a decision on all the other codes. At that time, we will send those for adoption and continue review of the 2024 IECC.
perfect. I second that.
Motion by Laura, second by
JJ.
Oh, AJ already seconded. I don't know who got in first. I'll say Warren got in first because I saw it. Seconded by Warren. Now it comes to a vote.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
I don't know. Opposed?
There's an,
Adrian's opposed.
yeah.
I'm one.
So, okay, so 9-1.
And let's try to have the other codes adopted by the end of the year.
So we're going to set this aside, and the next one that we haven't talked about is fire. So do we need to bring them in 2 weeks?
We'll call fire.
We are going to try to bring them in sooner than what they were scheduled for. Do we have a free date there?
It wouldn't have been next week, it would have been the following. So they're coming in potentially 2 weeks early.
Jason Ray is out.
We will do our best.
Okay, so if they aren't going to come in 2 weeks early, in 2 weeks, we're not talking about this.
No.
Are there any other housekeeping details other than the admin section that we need to focus on and get out of the way and use our time?
We can do the IRC,
We do have the IRC.
plumbing, mechanical,
We'll ask.
MEP. Yeah.
and electrical.
I thought we did commercial.
We did commercial fuel. We did fuel, gas, plumbing,
So
mechanical.
if we can't change 2018 and we're leaving all 1 and 2 story, then we don't have anything to do there to 2018.
I don't think so either.
Yeah.
But we'll confirm.
So, and
Why would, yeah, we wouldn't do that. We didn't, 418 wasn't there at the time when we did the IRC.
Right.
So we don't have anything to do in the IRC. We
Right.
can't change it.
we want to look at the 3+ units because we've defined that as a gap between the two codes. So we want to see where we're going.
That'll be under 2018 International Energy Code.
That stays there,
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay.
3 and under, 4 and over.
That only gets confusing if we're going forward with the 24.
We are staying with the 18 IECC as it's written today
For all projects.
for all projects.
Yep, for everything. So then that little flow chart kind of goes away.
And so then, once we have our time and, decide what we want, we can go back
And we continue the effort, right? Like I don't know, we take Martin Luther King Day off or something, I don't know, celebrate that we got all the other codes adopted. And then we've got this rhythm. Maybe it's not every 2 weeks anymore, but then we just meet in the same setup and we're only talking about energy.
Is someone going to go through the?
We have not done fire. What do we not have done?
Just fire.
We have not done fire and the 4 articles of admin, which are going to be really simple, short discussions, because what we're doing is I don't even know if I want to say this. I'm putting the administration part of all those codes into the IBC. I made those changes. I've already highlighted one example for you. Those are simple explanations. We can pull one up for a overview. They're all the same, maybe a little bit different wording. And then I just need to strike out some of those things that were in those articles Because they're now going to be in the IBC. It's pretty straightforward.
Articles 1 through 4.
It's really basically it's administration provisions, which you guys probably don't really care too much about.
But so you're saying you don't have the final draft of that yet?
I have them in working draft right now, not final draft. My plan is in the next 2 to 3 weeks to have those done.
Okay, so 2 weeks is the 10th. That's our next meeting.
When are you guys doing the lawsuit thing?
The lawsuit thing, I got a quorum of 7. So let's hit that real quick. Here's what I got. I got Neil, Warren, Kevin before he reached out, Chris, JJ, AJ, and Mike Myers for 7. I need a quorum of 6. They have confirmed they can be here on the 17th. Sean's out of town. SJ is some beach in the Caribbean.
I'm in London.
That's awesome.
I'd rather be on a beach.
I know, my choice was beach. It's not a great one nearby.
So maybe you guys can hook up and have a big
There we
pint
go.
of Guinness or something. And then I believe Mike Bruner, are you still on?
Yes,
You have a conflict, if I remember right.
correct.
Okay, so Mike will step out of that. So the plan is to have that hearing, get that out of our hair because that's lingering. We got to do it. And they met the code requirement and notification. The plan is to move that forward separately because that's probably going to take a full meeting.
Okay, so
That's the 17th.
do we need a meeting on the 10th? If we have this was the 17th, and then on the 24th, we come back with basically fire and our pre-reading material is the almost final drafts to consider approving to go.
Okay.
So we have in
So
writing
how about you give
stuff
us,
to read.
let us do this. We got
So you have 4 weeks to do that.
yes. So
Because that's for the 17th.
let me and Matt work with fire and get that game plan together and we'll send that out.
Okay.
Okay. I can't commit right now, but I think that's doable.
So our expectation is not to have the 10th, to have
Not to have the 10th
10th, the 17th is
for this hearing and then meet regular.
24th with everybody, everything but fire in final draft.
Yes,
And then this off the table for a second.
this off the table.
Yeah.
Well, I think we need to hear fire on when SJ says everything in final draft. I don't know if we can wrap up everything in final draft by then because we need to hear fire to coordinate our IECC.
Well, everything but fire.
But that will give us
I think
October, November.
she's talking about admin stuff.
Yeah.
You said you have working draft. She's talking about the
Yeah.
admin stuff being in final draft for a review.
Because
Yeah.
we're all going to have to read it.
Sure.
Right.
With the-
And then there's going to be some more modifications, so.
Just for clarification, on the 24th, you're not talking about final approval on the ordinances.
No, final draft for us to,
There you go. Yeah,
to issue approval.
Mr.
to go to the
Schmidt.
city.
Mr. Schmidt.
Final
Well,
draft.
I don't think that can
Still comes
happen,
back.
though. We still have to go back to IBC.
Yeah. We have fire.
IBC is simply what fire is going to have in their code.
Yeah, there were certain things that we talked
Yeah.
about. This waits till fire, this.
We will do our very best to have as much ready for you on the 24th as
Yeah,
possible.
because that's 4 weeks.
Okay,
Okay.
so
Well, just one quick point. Someone from staff will have to go through, it probably won't be very many conflicts between the plumbing and mechanical code for the IECC. But there will be conflicts between the building code, so someone will have to go through and maybe look for those amendments, or staff can just address those conflicts as they arise during plan review and construction. So
Is
some
that
might be
conflicts with
be-
fire or conflicts with IECC?
between the codes, right? The plumbing, the 24 code might reference the 24 IECC, or the 24 mechanical code might reference the 24 IECC, and the 24 building code might reference. So someone needs to resolve those conflicts, or staff can just choose to resolve them at plan review and construction.
Yeah, we'll find a way to. Yeah,
Yeah.
we can find a way to do
we'll
that.
find a way.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right,
Do we have a motion to adjourn?
please.
I moved it.
There's JJ.
JJ's not gonna.
He's eating already.
All in favor?
All right.
Opposed?
Passes 10-0. All right, thank you guys that's a headache. Thank you.